Election results are still trickling in for primary races across California, including in Los Angeles, where incumbent Mayor Karen Bass is up against reality star turned challenger Spencer Pratt to lead the city. But the days-long delay in knowing who won these Tuesday races is a common occurrence in California's to about 23 million registered voters. That's home to about 20 million rep voters. Counting these votes, including the millions of mail-in ballots, could take weeks.
Airbnb CEO Brian Chesky has had enough of merely being an artificial intelligence kingmaker. He now plans to back a new AI lab of his own. The news, broken by Bloomberg and confirmed to TechCrunch by a person familiar with the situation, marks Chesky as one of many Silicon Valley makers who are unsatisfied with the models coming out of the frontier labs. While Airbnb has adopted AI coding tools, Chesky said last year it hasn't struck an LLM partnership because existing products weren't quite ready.
Volodymyr Zelensky has called for a face-to-face meeting between himself and Vladimir Putin in a renewed bid to end the war. In an open letter to the Russian president, the Ukrainian leader said it would be wrong to simply wait until the war in Europe becomes the focus of the US's attention once more, adding peace could only come through direct engagement between Ukraine and Russia.
The administration of United States President Donald Trump has issued a statement appearing to characterize the anti-government protests in Bolivia as an attempted coup against the country's right-wing president. On Thursday, U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth posted on social media that the U.S. military establishment would reject all attempts to overthrow the legitimate government of Bolivian President Rodrigo Paz.
With just 2 weeks to go, Strictly VC Los Angeles is quickly approaching. On Thursday, June 18, at the Aerospace Corporation campus in El Segundo, investors, founders, and tech leaders will gather for an evening of conversation, exploring some of the most consequential shifts taking place across venture capital, defense technology, artificial intelligence, and advanced industry. Secure your spot here. For executives navigating a rapidly changing technology landscape, Strictly VC offers something increasingly difficult to find: direct access to the people building, funding, and shaping the next generation of companies. The conversations are candid, the audience is highly curated, and the insights extend far beyond what can be found in headlines, podcasts, or social media feeds.
In November 2017, TechCrunch brought Startup Battlefield to Australia for the first time. 15 startups from across Australia and New Zealand took the stage in Sydney, pitched in front of investors and judges, and competed for a shot at the global stage. It was one day, one stage. And what happened next is exactly why we're coming back.
At least 12 people have been killed and dozens of others injured in Russian strikes across Ukraine, according to Ukrainian authorities, as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky commemorated at least 707 children killed by Russia during the two countries' more than 4-year-long war. At least 5 people were killed and 11 others injured in Russian bomb and drone attacks on eastern Ukraine's Donetsk region, the National Police of Ukraine's press service said on Thursday. Liverpool has named Andoni Iraola as their new manager after sacking Arne Slot following a calamitous Premier League title defence. Iraola quickly emerged as Liverpool's top target to replace Slot, whose 2-year reign came to a shock end when he was dismissed last Saturday.
Maja Chwalinska of Poland became just the second qualifier to reach a Grand Slam singles final in the Open era when she beat Diana Schneider of Russia 7-6, 4-6-4. The 24-year-old Chwalinska has a chance to match Emma Raducanu's title run at the 2021 US Open when she plays Russian teenager Mira Andreeva in Saturday's final at Roland Garros.
When Congresswoman Delia Ramirez first announced the Block the Bombs Act to impose a partial embargo from the United States to Israel, only 21 Democratic legislators joined her in supporting the measure. That was June 2025. 1 year later, the legislative proposal now has 73 co-sponsors, a tally that Palestinian rights supporters say represents historic progress. Poke, a startup that turns using AI agents into something as simple as sending a text message, has become the first AI agent approved to run on Apple's Messages for Business platform. Previously, the platform was designed for businesses, airlines, retailers, hotel chains and others, to communicate with their own customers through iMessage, offering a standardized interface that supports both automated chat and live agents. Until now, it hadn't been open to standalone third-party AI agents. Launched in March, Poke is one of the first AI agents designed to be accessible to everyday users who don't have the technical skill set or inclination to work with command line tools or more complex agentic systems like OpenClaw. Today, Poke can help with common activities like daily planning, managing your calendar, tracking your health and fitness, controlling your smart home and editing your photos, all via text message. To date, it's relayed some 100 million messages, the company tells TechCrunch.
Or just when you thought the AI data center boom couldn't get any crazier, Meta has gone and built data centers in tents. The strategy appears to borrow in equal parts from Tesla and xAI. In a bid to cut construction time in half, Meta has built 6 tents, or rapid deployment structures, as the company describes them, outside of New Albany, Ohio, according to Michael Thomas, founder of CleanView, which tracks data center deployments. British human rights lawyer says the former wife of a nephew of the ruler of Dubai has gone missing. Contact with Zainab Javadli was lost on Tuesday, and the BBC has been told her home in Dubai is locked and empty.
An auction with an array of memorabilia from Marilyn Monroe's estate and friends has already brought in thousands of dollars in bids on the 100th anniversary of her birth. The sale, which began on Thursday, features 185 items from the model and actress's life, including a 1950s evening purse worth an estimated $100,000, $74,000, an evening gown, and even her lip pomade. French-Iranian author, illustrator, director and activist Marjanji Satrapi, best known for her graphic novel series and film Persepolis, has died aged 56. The Élysée, the Paris, has confirmed she captivated a global audience with Persepolis. The palace said, calling her a leading figure in French culture and an artist devoted to freedom whose work carried a universal message and earned her immense international renown. Saudi Arabia's Minister of Energy, Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman Al Saud, has met his Russian counterpart in St. Petersburg and called for stability in global energy markets as OPEC grapples with disruption caused by the wars in Iran and Ukraine, which have sent oil prices skyrocketing. OPEC has been unprecedented challenges with slashed oil exports, and in Jumayyah, the United Arab Emirates, an OPEC powerhouse for almost 60 years, left the oil cartel in April.
Hundreds of Libyans have gathered outside the UN Refugee Agency, UNHCR, headquarters in Tripoli to protest against undocumented migrants that they say should leave Libya. Protesters on Thursday chanted, "Libya belongs to Libyans," and called for the closure of the UNHCR headquarters in the capital. They were seen holding signs reading, "Our love for our country is not racism, and Libya's is not the world's garbage bin."
Helion, the fusion startup backed by Sam Altman, announced on Thursday that it had raised $465 million in a new funding round that values the company at $15.5 billion. The cash infusion lands as Helion is racing to complete Orion, its first power plant. The startup has set an aggressive timeline to deploy fusion power to the grid as early as 2028 if it can deliver on the terms of its deal with Microsoft.
The federal government has decided to increase the general sales tax, GST, on everyday school and office supplies from 10% to 18% under the upcoming Finance Bill 2026. Official sources informed Pro-Pakistani a short while ago. The proposal has already been finalised and has received clearance from the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Once implemented, the revised tax rate will take effect from July 1, 2026.
Washington. 3 senior Democratic leaders urged their colleagues in the US Senate on Thursday to support the move to prevent President Donald Trump from continuing the war against Iran without congressional approval. Democratic Whip Catherine Clark, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, and Caucus Chair Pete Aguilar said in a joint statement that the House of Representatives on Wednesday successfully passed a war powers resolution and that it is now time for Senate Republicans to do the right thing.
Once a gathering place for Western leaders and investors, Russia's St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, CEPIEF, features a guest list that includes an eclectic mix of American attendees, ranging from conservative podcaster Candace Owens, U.S. Commission of Fine Arts Chairman Rodney Mims Cook Jr., and American actor Steven Seagal. The Ukrainians are not in attendance. They made their presence felt as the Kremlin's flagship business and economic forum got underway under the cloud of drone strikes on Russia's second-largest city, President Vladimir Putin's hometown of St. Petersburg, just hours before the event started on Wednesday. John Bolton, a former national security advisor to President Donald Trump, is set to accept a plea deal in a case related to the handling of classified documents, according to media in the United States. Bolton, now a prominent Trump critic, reportedly intends to plead guilty to 1 count of illegal retention of sensitive national security documents and has agreed to pay a fine of more than $2 million.